Hello, thank you for joining RasPipKr tutorials. I'm Martin Parker, and in this video we're going to start making a game of Tic Tac Toe. Now previously I have made a memory game, and I'm going to do the similar sort of principle. I'm going to use a lot of string variables. I'm going to work with a dictionary for the way that the layout's going to be, and so forth. Anyway, let's just bring this up. So this is a memory game, and this is on my GitHub right now, so you can test yourself. You can play 4x4 up to a 10x10, and basically you click on, see the timer started already as soon as you start the game, and you just need to reveal some numbers until you get a pair. There you go. And the fastest time I've done it is 20 seconds, which is quite good, I think. So there you go. So it's going to be a similar thing. You can't click these buttons anymore. So there you go. So it's going to be similar. Let's get rid of that. Right, so let's create a new file. And we'll save this as not in the memory. Let's go to desktop, and we'll call this Tic Tac Toe. Right, let's make this full screen. So the library that we're going to be using is tkinter, because I like using tkinter library. It is part of your Python installation, so there's nothing to install unless you've not got Python installed. So first of all, let's import tkinter, and I like to put it as a variable called tk. When you're playing tic-tac-toe, you either have an O or an X, so let us create them variables, and it's going to be a string of a capital X, and we'll have O is equal to a capital O. And then we need to set our root widget. You can call it whatever, but I like to call it root. I guess it's a naming thing. And now that we've declared our tkinter widget as root, we can now create them string variables. If we hadn't have done that, then we'd get an issue with our code. So we're going to call this b0 is equal to tk.string var, and there's going to be a load of these, so we'll do the top row on this line, so we'll put a semicolon, and then b1 is equal to tk.string var, and another one, b2 is equal to tk.string var. Okay, so we've created that line, and let's just copy that and just paste that in a couple of times so we don't have to write it all out. And this will be b3, this will be b6, and this will be b4, this will be b7, and this will be button, well, oops. Right, so we've got our string variables. So now what we want to do is create our dictionary like we have in the memory game. So we can I'm going to set the keys as the ID basically, so it'll match up with the B whichever number. So we'll do I'll call this main layout, just like we did with the other one. Well, with the memory game, main layout is equal to a dictionary, and we'll call the key of 0, and that'll be reference to the value, will be B0. So basically we're going to create all our keys and variables to be the string variables that we've just created above. So that'll be B1, and then 2 will be B2. We'll jump onto the next line so it matches the way it is above. 4, B4, 5, B5, and then 6, B6, 7, B7, B8, and that all looks good to me. Cool. Right, so now we've got our layout. Let's put it to screen. So we're going to go. I could do this by adding loads of button informations, but the reason why I'm doing it this way is so I can just go through this dictionary in a for loop to create the buttons, and we'll use the keys to actually assign the string variables. You'll see. So we'll go for I in, and then we'll do our main layout dot keys. So we're pulling in the digits. Sorry, well, the keys basically. So normally when you're starting a loop, you would start with 0. That's the normal way. So that's why I've got the first key as 0. So basically we'll call this button, I'll put my btn. Doesn't really matter because we're not actually going to use this, but we're going to reference to this like we do in the memory game, so we can reassign stuff. So my button is equal to tk.button with a capital B, and then we're going to pass that into the root window, and the text variable is going to equal to main layout dot get, and we're going to put in I there because it's going to pull. So as this goes through this for loop, it's going to go through 0 to 8, and it's going to bring that string variable into it, like so. We'll get it on screen first of all, so we won't worry about any widths or anything at the moment. I'll do my button dot grid. Now I like to use grid, and I think it'll work perfectly well, because it's just going to stay as a 3x3. But we need to know how we're going to work this out. So let's go back above here, and then we'll come back to this line. So because this is going through all of this, and it's going through 0 to 8, 9 iterations basically, so we want to actually figure out which row we want to be on, etc., for positioning. So if I do if I is less than or equal to 2, then it's going to be on the top row, just like it is here. This is a reason why I've done it this way, so you can see how it's going to be laid out. And we'll call the variable r is equal to 0, so that'll be our row 0, and the column we'll call as c is equal to I. So if I put in now, the row is equal to the r value, and the column is equal to c. We'll put some padding in there, so we'll put pad x equals 10, and we'll put pad y equals 10 as well. So that's that layout sorted out. But now we need to sort out for the next row. So elif I is greater than or equal to 3, and I is less than or equal to. So basically, if it's that number, or that number, so we're going to pass in a 5, then the row will equal to 1, and the column, and if we put that to equal to I, it's going to throw us a problem. So it wouldn't position the button underneath, it would go from there to there, and then the buttons would start from here going across. So we need to do I minus 3. And then for the bottom row, I is greater than or equal to 6. Because this is the last one, it's always going to be greater than 6, there's not going to be any others. So we'll do R is equal to 2, so that's going to be the bottom row, and then C is equal to I, but whereas we did minus 3, this needs to be minus 6. So basically, if say if we're on this row and I is equal to 6, then the actual column would refer to these numbers here. So if I just go down to the bottom here and root.main loop, and now if I run this, we should get a layout like so. Awesome. Maybe that padding's a little bit big. We'll change that to 5. Let's have a look at that. Right, so we've got our buttons. Yeah, it's a little bit small, but we can make these buttons a little bit bigger. Let's put a background difference on there, so we'll go up to our root, so we'll go root.config, and we'll pass in the background, and we'll put it to a grey colour. See that? And that will work as our borders. Right, so these buttons are clickable, but nothing's happening at the moment. But that's it for this video, so I'll keep it short and sweet. And then in the next video I'll start to implement some functionality, and when you start clicking stuff, something will happen. Okay, so that's it for this video. Catch me in the next one. Thank you.